University, you're watching WOUB2, television for Athens County.
The election 2010 is in the record books, and Ohio will have a new governor come January.
Locally, all Athens County levies passed. Find out what that means for you.
And nationally, big changes in Congress could mean more government gridlock. Athens Midday Special Election Edition starts right now. Election day has come and gone, and Ohio joins the nation in voting for change. Good afternoon. I'm Leigha Kristoff.
And I'm Jennifer Bullock. We have all your Athens County and Ohio results in the next half hour. The change that starts with new Ohio governor will take office in January. Less than half of the state's registered voters went to the polls yesterday, down about 5% from the last gubernatorial election. Republican candidate John Kasich edged out current Governor Ted Strickland by just 2% in a race that tightened up substantially in the last few weeks. But here in the Democratic stronghold of Athens, Strickland won big. Athens Midday reporter Rachel Howard joins us live with a look at the governor's race locally.
Part of the reason Athens supported Strickland was his campaign efforts in the region, but John Kasich's message of jobs and the economy hit a nerve with voters across the state.
So Southeast Ohio just wants a change. They want jobs. They want Ohio's jobs back.
And that sentiment appears to have won the day in the governor's race. Despite Ted Strickland's success in Athens, Republican John Kasich's call for more jobs hit a nerve with voters. But some area voters say they're not sure things will turn around soon, even with new leadership.
A lot of jobs are just not going to come back the way they were in the past, and it's going to take some time to adjust to that, and adjustment periods are difficult for people. People may need a little helping hand.
And Athens residents saw the race differently, in a city where the biggest employer is a government organization called Ohio University, and much of that support was viewed as coming from the Democratic incumbent. And that's why both parties are trying to get everybody in Athens out to vote.
Today, don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote. Today's election day.
No, I think we're doing a call from West Coast.
I remind your household to get out and vote tonight before the polls close at 7:30. Thank you.
First Lady Frances Strickland and the governor's brother stopped in Athens to rally voters, and Roger Strickland said Athens is important to Strickland's campaign.
Every time that Ted's been in an election, Athens is one of the key spots where he gets his majority.
Even with the majority of Athens County voters casting ballots for Strickland, it just wasn't enough.
Strickland called Kasich just after midnight last night to concede the race. Reporting for Athens Midday, I'm Rachel Howard.
The GOP win for governor also trickled down to the rest of the state races. The attorney general race was close. Former GOP U.S. Senator Mike DeWine defeated incumbent Richard Cordray by about 20,000 votes, winning 48% of the vote. GOP candidate John Husted ousted Democratic Mary Ellen O'Shaughnessy by a huge margin for the Secretary of State. Husted gained 54% of the votes, winning by more than 400,000 votes. In the race for auditor, Republican David Yost defeated Democrat David Pepper by a little more than 200,000 votes, winning 51% of the vote. Moving to the State House of Representatives, incumbent Democrat Debbie Phillips will remain the 92nd District Representative for our area. She earned 52% of the vote, edging out GOP candidate Mike Hunter by a couple thousand votes. And it also looks like the Ohio State House and Senate are in Republican control as well. When the vote counts are finalized, the Ohio House is expected to have 58 GOP representatives and 41 Democrats. The Ohio Senate is expected to have 23 GOP senators and 10 Democratic senators.
Moving from statewide to Athens County races, there was one contested county commissioner race. And in that race, 64% of the votes went to Democratic incumbent Lenny Eliason. Eliason was victorious over Republican Matt Geiser by more than 4,000 votes. Athens County voters also overwhelmingly supported 3 levies. In the city of Athens, the street levy was renewed, with 65% of the votes in favor of the measure. The 0.1% income tax levy will replace an existing levy, but it was renewed a year early. So for the next year, the people working in Athens will pay double. Across the county, voters also endorsed the new county EMS system, with more than 70% of the vote in favor of Issue 3, the EMS levy. This 1 mil levy will run for 5 years. Another levy passed was the Children's Services Levy, with more than 2/3 in favor. Funds from the renewal levy will go to Athens County Children's Services to support programs like PassionWorks.
Athens Midday reporter Jane Lonsdale is live in the newsroom to tell us more about the levies. Jane?
Jennifer and Leah, as you can see from those numbers, Athens voters supported every levy, and in a big way.
This 650 high-speed voting reader will be getting a rest, at least until the next election. But yesterday, this machine and the employees here at the Athens County Board of Elections were busy. And one organization benefiting from that effort was PassionWorks, hoping voters would approve a much-needed operating levy.
And this particular levy that was on an 8-year cycle is expiring, and if we don't replace it, we will lose basically about 20% of our operating budget for the entire program.
The good news for Barba is that voters did pass this and every other levy on the ballot by healthy margins. The other hot issues on the ballot included levies for the repair of local streets and money to create an emergency medical services program in the county. The success of the levies may have had something to do with the Get Out the Vote effort of students at OU.
OU students and local community members are voicing their opinion in hopes of helping the local community.
And I accept that people have different views. Just vote. Just have your voice.
And I hope it does have a positive effect on them and our community, as a whole.
But with the success of the levies come the reality of higher taxes on residents in the county, a trade-off most voters apparently felt was well worth it.
And to indicate just how supportive voters were, every one of the levies passed by at least a 65 to 35% margin. Reporting for Athens Midday, I'm Jane Lonsdale.
Thanks, Jane. Also in Athens County, Nelsonville got its street levy passed. 58% of voters favored the levy, with a little more than 500 votes for and about 400 votes against. The replacement levy, which will be used to repair streets, roads, and bridges, is 3 mils and will be in place for 5 years. And our local election coverage continues online. Find out how voter turnout in Athens County led to passing levies and a new governor, and what changes will be coming to the state by checking out athensmidday.com.
It was a big night for Republicans nationwide in congressional races, and Ohio contributed to the big GOP wave of wins. Republican Rob Portman won the U.S. Senate race, gaining 57% of the vote, more than 700,000 votes over Lieutenant Governor Lee Fisher. Democrat Charlie Wilson lost his re-election bid to newcomer Bill Johnson for the Ohio 6th District congressional seat. Johnson gained 50% of the vote, with more than 100,000 in favor, while Wilson had 45% of votes. Another GOP victory and another incumbent ousted, with Republican Bob Gibbs winning the 18th district seat with a 54% majority. Democrat Zach Space gained 40% of the vote, but led in Athens County and Vinton County. And those results in Ohio were played out across the country last night, giving the Republicans control of the U.S. House, but the Democrats will hold on to the U.S. Senate. CNN's Sandra Endo wraps up the midterm congressional election results.
The results are in, showing a dramatic shift in power in the House. Picking up more than 60 seats, Republicans are set to gain control of the chamber and make this man its new leader.
It's clear tonight who the winners really are, and that's the American people.
In what was a contentious and the most expensive midterm election cycle in U.S. history, Republicans made noticeable gains, but Democrats kept control of the Senate. Surviving a tough contest against Republican Sharon Angle, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid is keeping his career alive.
Nevada chose to move forward, not backwards.
But some longtime Democrats went down in defeat, vowing to still help the party.
It's on to the next fight. It's on to the next battle. It's on to 2012.
This election was a test for the conservative-leaning Tea Party movement, and success was split. In Kentucky, a win.
We've come to take our government back.
But in Delaware, defeat.
This whole campaign is about putting the political process back into your hands.
President Obama made calls to Republican leaders in Congress, saying he's looking forward to finding common ground.
The president is scheduled to hold a news conference later this afternoon to address the results and what will be a new dynamic he'll have to work with in Congress. In Washington, I'm Sandra Endo.
Voters will now see if a Republican Congress can work with a Democratic president to turn the economy around and create jobs. The Supreme Court will confront California's desire to ban violent video games.
And David Tilley is back in the courtroom to change his plea. Find out what changed when Athens Midday returns. The 83-year-old man accused of killing his wife changed his not guilty plea this morning in Athens County Court. David Tilley of Guysville pleaded guilty this morning to murder and firearms charges and will serve 18 years to life in prison. Tilley shot his 46-year-old wife in the back of the head in late September. At the sentencing, Tilley's attorney read a letter explaining to the court he was helping his wife Hope, who told David she wanted to end her life. Athens County Prosecutor David Warren says the plea deal makes sense.
The fact that he will not even be eligible for post-release control, which we used to call parole, until he's over 101 years old, it really made no difference to go forward on an aggravated murder charge, which would have added about 5 years to his sentence.
Police say Tilley shot his wife while she was sleeping and then called 911 to say his wife was dead and he would be out on the front porch waiting to be arrested.
And in Lebanon, 7 people were injured as a fire blazed through a townhome complex. Residents say they heard a bomb-like explosion before the building ignited yesterday. Fire officials say the fire occurred when a woman lit a cigarette in an apartment where natural gas was leaking. 10 units in a 2-story building were destroyed or damaged, and all victims are recovering. Free speech meets violence, at least in a video game. The Supreme Court is weighing whether California's banning the sale of overly graphic video games to minors is constitutional or not. The video game in question, Postal 2, allows players to shoot police and even behead women. Various free speech, media, and entertainment organizations oppose the ban.
Do you hate parking tickets and expensive meters? Well, Athens City Council is working on a Christmas present for you. City Council introduced an ordinance this week to provide free parking in the city's parking garage on Washington Street for the holiday season. The hope is to entice shoppers to bring their money to the city's downtown shops. In the past, the city has offered free parking on Court Street, but last year the Athens Uptown Business Association requested that the city offer the parking garage to accommodate more shoppers. A popular social networking site claims it knows when your relationship will end. Facebook has created a graphic that uses status updates to chart what time of the year people are breaking up. The creators of the graphic found 2 key times for breakups, right after Valentine's Day and right before spring break. The safest time for relationships? Christmas Day. While the colder temperatures seem to be persistent, Mike Linden will tell us if the cold temperatures are here to stay.
And OU Bobcats will have their last home game tomorrow night. Find out how the seniors are feeling about the game when Athens Midday returns.
Have you ever tried to dig a hole to China? Well, Germany got a head start. A sinkhole opened in a town in eastern Germany. The hole is 65 feet deep and more than 130 feet across. No one was injured, but a car did fall victim to the massive hole. A number of residents living nearby were evacuated from the scene. Scientists are still searching for why the sinkhole occurred. A local paper reports more than 1,000 loads of gravel are needed to fill the hole. And Indonesia is evacuating more people from near Mount Merapi after the volcano had its biggest eruption yet. Government volcanologist Serrano said today's explosive eruption lasted more than an hour and shot searing ash miles into the sky. The government widened the danger zone from 9 miles to 6 miles. The massive blast endangered places that had not been evacuated, as well as refugee camps within that distance. Refugees who already fled when the mountain started erupting last week were among those being moved to safer areas. Well, Jen, I'm sure lots of people this morning were busy defrosting their cars. It was really cold outside.
Well, Leah, I don't doubt it at all. I've seen a lot of people ditching flip-flops for winter jackets. So let's head over to Mike Linden. Mike, will we see any cooler temperatures or maybe a rise this week?
Well, temperatures in terms of getting any warmer, probably not. In fact, we're probably going to be staying right around where we are. But outside today, mostly sunny in Athens, so we see some kind of cloud cover really developing in Athens County. Now, as we look outside, we can see that there really isn't that many clouds in the area. In fact, right behind that 6, you can see all the fall foliage really starting to develop as it really is getting into the peak part of the season. Now, as we take a look at our current conditions outside in Athens, for today, November 3rd, our humidity 58%, but we really shouldn't be seeing any kind of precipitation or rain for that matter at all. 3-mile-per-hour wind with our pressure at 29.97 inches, relatively high, but that is falling, so we should be getting into that range of the lower pressure and just rain over the weekend. Now, our visibility at 10 miles per hour and remaining steady. Now, as we take a look at where we should be for this time of year, we can see our temperature is 61, our daily average for today. Now 41, our daily low. Now our high temperature 86 degrees and 23 is our low. Now luckily it's not that cold outside, but it could be that way soon. This morning the sun rose at 7:57 a.m. and will set tonight at 6:25 p.m. Now, as we take a look at temperatures around the state of Ohio, 38 degrees in Cleveland, 36 in Canton. Now, as you move closer to the southeast region of Ohio, temperatures dipping down quite a bit, 35 in Dayton, 37 in Columbus. Athens remaining at 36, so a bit chilly outside today in southeastern Ohio as we're entering a system of high pressure that is all coming down from Canada. So a lot of cold wind coming from the northwest region. So we take a look at our Ohio radar here. Really not much to point out other than down here close to Cincinnati and Dayton. Should be seeing some kind of rain developing, but really not too much going on throughout the rest of the state. Now, nationally, on the other hand, we see a bunch of systems here across the middle of the United States really starting to develop. Now, it's not, you cannot see it, but there is a stationary front pretty much riding up the coast of Georgia and the eastern United States, and right above it, in fact, between those two systems of rain, another cold front. So essentially what it's doing is taking this region of precipitation here, pushing it right into our area, and this clipper system here pushing more cold air into our region, so we should be seeing colder temperatures due to those systems of precipitation coming into our area. Now, as we take a look at our day planner for tomorrow, 56 degrees at 3 p.m. Now, 6 p.m. as it's time for dinner, 54 degrees, and temperatures dropping down into the 40s around 9 p.m., and that will continue to drop as we get closer to midnight. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. temperatures will continue to fall. Now, as we take a look at overnight temperatures tonight in Athens, 40 degrees, so dipping down really into that really uncomfortably cold range as we're getting closer and closer to freezing temperatures here in Athens. So we're seeing a lot of cloud cover in the area today, and that should be bringing for it's going to feel a lot colder than 40 degrees, that's for sure. Now, as we take a look at tomorrow, on the other hand, 53 degrees with a 30% chance of some rain after 1 p.m. Now, after that, probably most likely just mostly cloudy skies. Now, our 4-day forecast for the rest of the week, Jen, this is what we referred to earlier, 53 degrees on Thursday. Now, as we move the rest of the week, 44 on Friday. No, but the real story is that low, 25 degrees. Now, we should not be seeing any terms of definitive amount of snow, but we definitely could be seeing a wintry mix of just cold rain, and really what happens in this area is that when there is a chance for snow, it really just ices over, and it's just going to be very cold rain, most likely later on in the week.
Well, Mike, it looks like a great weekend to just stay in and cuddle into the blankets.
Try and stay warm. Get those winter clothes ready.
All right, thank you.
Of course.
Need some laughs in the midst of this chilly weather?
Check out where to see a TV comedian and more in today's community calendar. Well, Jennifer, I know last night my family and probably other families too elected to watch the Blue Jackets game last night. Man, what a game.
It was a great game, and with all the election coverage, let's not forget about sports. So Joe Robbins has our report. Joe?
Well, a night game on national TV, that's not the status quo for the Bobcat football team, but ESPNU will have the call when Ohio faces the University of Buffalo tomorrow at 7:30. The green and white hope to continue to make their case for a bowl game, considering that the Bulls are 5th in the MAC East and at 2-6 overall. Ohio fans shouldn't be worried unless the Cats lose focus by looking ahead to their game against Temple, a division leader. That game should decide who plays in the MAC championship for a chance at a guaranteed bowl bid. Thursday's game will give Ohio football a chance to extend this season's home winning streak to 4 games, and it will be the last home game of the season. Midday reporter Stephanie Krase caught up with some of the seniors to find out how they felt about defending Peden Stadium for the last time.
The Bobcats will take the field tomorrow night for their last home game of the season. The team is now bowl eligible, and seniors Donovan Fletcher and Dak Notstein are ready to take on Buffalo.
I'm excited. You know, I think last few weeks we've had really good games and five-game winning streaks.
First and foremost, I'm glad Mom's able to make it, and I'll be playing even that much harder for her because, you know, she's seen her son out there, and she always enjoys seeing me and my brother play, so I can't wait.
Thursday is senior night here at Peden Stadium, and the Bobcats are reflecting on memories that they've had throughout the years.
Just the jokes and stuff that all the teammates have said over the years. You know, there's funny memories in the locker room. And
of course, just playing here and being out in front of all our great fans and all the people that support us, it's going to be tough to let that go.
As the season comes to an end, the seniors are letting go of a lot of great moments, both on and off the field. And one of the things they say they will miss the most is being a member of the Ohio University family.
I don't know, just the feeling of being a Bobcat kind of thing, you know?
Reporting for Athens MidDay, I'm Stephanie Krase.
Ohio has 24 seniors on its roster playing their last game at Peden tomorrow. It's been a great run, guys. We wish you luck against the Bills tomorrow. While seniority is affecting the Cleveland Browns during their bye week, Coach Eric Mangini hasn't decided whether to start veteran Seneca Wallace or rookie Colt McCoy at quarterback for Sunday's matchup against the AFC leading Patriots. He says that he will choose whoever he thinks will give the Browns the best chance to win. Cleveland is still the caboose in the AFC North, but the Bengals aren't too far ahead, and it could get worse if they don't steal one from Pittsburgh at home on Monday night. Coming off another heartbreaker, this time against Miami, the Bengals are hurting after losing their last 4. However, Steeler fans remember that the Steel City has lost 2 of the last 2 contests against their Jungle Cat rivals. Well, Cavs fans must be getting used to losing as well. They dropped their 3rd straight contest last night against Atlanta after making a strong statement in the 3rd quarter. The Hawks came out with guns blazing, shooting over 70% from the field in the 1st quarter. Here's Marvin Williams skying over Anthony Parker on the fast break. Slamma-jamma. Later, Joe Johnson put out a give-and-go clinic, finishing with the alley-oop. There's 2 of his 15 on the night. Cleveland fans just can't get enough of J.J. Hickson, who helped lead a 3rd-period surge to take the lead. Here he sneaks past 4 Hawk players for 2 and the foul. The Cavs kept Atlanta to 15 points in the 3rd, but the lead didn't last long. Atlanta returned to the favor in the 4th, holding the Cavs to 15 and taking home the road win 100-88. And continuing our young phenom report, Blue Jackets captain Rick Nash had the first goal against Montreal in a 3-0 shutout at home. Scott Arneal, always looking jovial when his goalie puts up a no-no. With 7.5 left in the first, Nash takes the 2-on-1 to the house. Carey Price standing up afterwards, trying to figure out what happened. C'est la vie, mon ami. Fast forward 83 seconds, and it's Carey's worst nightmare again. Jakub Voracek puts on the old switcheroo, passing to Derek Brassard to the backside, who slaps it in for another goal. Things stayed relatively quiet for the Habs, as Jacket goalie Matthew Garçon stopped 29 in his 17th career shutout. Later in the 3rd, Kyle Wilson supplies the cherry on top with an oh-so-pretty backhand. Here it is. The Jackets improved to 7-4. They travel to Atlanta for a game against the Thrashers tonight. That's all that's happening in sports today. Ladies, back to you.
All right, thank you, Joe. Well, the Halloween holiday brought people back to life in Canada. That's right, a Canadian magician is back from the dead after spending 42 hours underground. Escape artist Dean Gunnarsson rose from his steel coffin early Sunday. His only link to the living was a BlackBerry he used to communicate with fans. Gunnarsson planned his escape as a tribute to legendary magician Harry Houdini. Houdini died on Halloween Day more than 30 years ago at the exact same time of Gunnarsson's escape. There are a high amount of domestic violence and family violence cases in Athens County. Tune into Newswatch tonight to find out why.
And a new solar carport at Athens Community Center is ready to open. Find out more tomorrow on Midday. Thanks for watching us. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and have a great day.